Righto. This is just a short discussion about my singing faces. I'm new to Christmas lights, not new to lighting. I've been involved in discos and rock and roll bands and amateur theatre and that for quite a few years. So this is my first time at doing animated faces. Bit of a story, town I'm from, it's probably got about 15,000 people in it. And last year, the year before last, 2014, driving around and there was a new bloke in town, LOR set up with animated music and the LOR Christmas, the LOR rope outlines, holiday choro, singing faces. And I just looked at them, I said I really like them and said to my wife I'd love to do that. She said go and do it. Go on. She doesn't know the budget, but she's happy that I'm in the garage working on stuff and not using the TV remote. But anyway, so I thought being my first year and being a newbie that I would start off fairly simple, so I went for a mega tree and 4 singing faces. Yeah. And now I've got to do it again. Anyway, this is just because the town's little and the bloke that had the other singing faces was only 500 metres away from him, I couldn't have those singing faces. And I couldn't have his songs either, so I thought I need something different. And then different was what I wanted. And then I saw Logan's Olive on the web. I thought, well, that's clever. And then Baff05 in Canberra, he added some trees. And I thought, that's clever, I could do that. And I invented Rudolph myself. So this is a bit of a rundown what I did, how they work. They're made from 5mm Coro. They used hot glue, and I've used Celastic to hold the fronts on so I can cut the Celastic to take the front off, which is what you've got to do when you've got to replace the first pixel in them when they get hit by lightning. One thing I discovered about hot glue is that it's hot.
Really?
Especially when you've got your fingers on it and you're trying to make the decision that you pull your fingers away and then you've got to redo it all, or do you just go that little bit further and wait for it to grab? I was a bit worried that the hot glue may not handle the 45-degree heat on the roof. They did get a bit soft. You could pick them up and you feel them, but nothing fell apart. So, 50mm sides on them, and 50mm is 50mm because 50mm was the width of the bit of aluminium that I had to cut the sides. And I thought they had to be far enough apart to give a bit of diffusion, but 50mm was what it was. I'm thinking now that maybe 75 something might be better, but 50 is what I went with. I used the 12-volt 3-pixel nodey things that I bought from Ben Brown because they were waterproof, and I thought that works. And using strip, you'd have to solder all the strip everywhere, which is a pain. Having said that, a bloke in America, in New York's just made another Bruno, and he used strip, and I like the output that he had. I think he's got very nice colours in it. I've brought 2 along. That's Patrick, who's a star, and that's Bruno, who's my reindeer. Do we know why he's called Patrick? Every 5-year-old that come and saw it knew why he was called Patrick, because it's SpongeBob. And Bruno is one of the little-known reindeers. He's Bruno the brown nose. He's just as fast as Rudolph, but he can't stop as quick. So I've got 80 in Patrick, 76 are in the trees, and I've got 100 in Bruno. I've got Pixelite 4 was driving them all, and I used X lights. So basically, I developed the design based on Logan and Baff's design. Actually, my trees are called Logan and Baff, so next time you see them. I used PowerPoint basically because PowerPoint, whether you know it or not, is very good at handling shapes and bits and pieces, and it was also the only program I had at work.
Did you say work?
Yeah. I work shift work, and I'm on breakdown. There's no breakdown, you do the Christmas lights. Don't put that in the film. Anyway. So I used my projector. I projected them. I nailed the Coro to the dining room wall, and then I projected them up, which allowed me to size it so that my pixel models would fit where they had to go. So I sized it, made it fit on the Coro, traced it all out in my best handwriting, and then I put the outsides on. Now, if you've not worked with Coro before, if you just slice one side of it, just through half the corrugation, you put enough slices, you can bend it and keep the outside attached. So when you look at this round bloke here, every round bit's got 4,000 slices. And the later you are at night, and the more chance you've got of going through the lot. I used to use the scalpel because it suited me. So after I put the outsides on, I then attached the pixels just using the adhesive that came with them, and that worked really well. And laid it out so that they were even and they suited and they were some sort of symmetry and consistency. And then I added the internal walls. I did that last because I had to cut them out to fit over the cables and things that are inside. So there's the pair of them. I've numbered them all. And then you take a photo. So when you come to program them, really good idea. And I discovered that when I built the trees and had them up on the roof and sat down to program them, I didn't have a photo. So I had to use my memory to work out what was going on. Some of the tricks that I used was the mouths are exactly the same in all four of them. So once I'd worked out how to program the mouth and how to get it to go, it's just a matter of copying it across. The eyes are the same. I've pinched Bath's eyes with his ability to move them around. When I did Patrick, I just laid out the strands. The strands are 20 long, so I laid them out to fit. And in doing so, I created some heartache for myself because some of the mouthpieces, the pieces weren't in order. They were in strand order, not part of the element order, which I fixed with the other ones. X-Lights handles it really well. It didn't cause any heartache, just caused me a bit of heartache having to program it. And when I built this, I had no idea how I was going to program them. So I had X-Lights, and I built Patrick as my test, and I had, how am I going to do this? And then I got into it, and it worked. I power injected about every 20 pixels, or where it was easy, because I had to cut some, and that looked like a good spot. I probably over-injected, but I wasn't getting back up there to fix it if it was a problem later. And the input and output powers just loop through. The trees, once again, based upon Bath's design, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if they had a bow in their hair that I could turn on and off? So I've got a male singing tree and a female singing tree. Right, they're not called Logan when they're female. I don't know about you, but I name things in my house. Everything's got a name. Kids have been doing it for years. And I thought, oh, that'd be fun. And then I thought, wouldn't it be good if I could spin the bow? Because that way I give a bit of animation into it. You've seen this before, haven't you? So I built this mechanism that allowed me to spin it. So now it looks like a Dalek with a eye stalk out the front. And what I wanted to do was put a third eye in the middle that I could turn on and have it as a minion with just the one eye in the middle. And it wouldn't fit. I couldn't fit it in the space that I had. So I didn't go that far. That's my kitchen table, by the way. Then about halfway through, my daughter, I had my tune to in the bottom of the mega tree, and my daughter decided that was no good, and she demanded that I put a better sign up. I don't know if anybody's got daughters. Yeah, mine's 27. That looks shit, fix it. Okay. So I made a tune to sign, which was very much the same. It was quick and nasty. I just created an outline that I copied. I used 3mm Coro on the inside, and I painted the outside black so I wouldn't get light spill. And I think the 3mm gives a better internals. I used 5mm internals on those blokes. If I built them again, I'd probably use 3. It's not necessary to put the black on them. On these blokes over here, you want the colours to bleed through when they're the same colour either side. You don't want to have that line show up. So, and when they're different colours, it doesn't seem to be an issue. So that's a quick and nasty one that I did. And that's the layout. That's just an A4 piece of paper that I designed in PowerPoint. And that just sat up on the... Good thing about it was, now I actually used the face effect in X-Lights to program this. That's my favourite effect in X-Lights. I had a discussion with some of the developers trying to get them to fix it, and they couldn't get through to them. So I might chew your ear later on. I actually used the faces effect to program the eyes in my ones as well. Anyway, good thing about that was I can change the numbers, I can change the colour, I could change the colour easily in X-Lights to make it fit in with the display. And it's quick and nasty. So to mount it, I used solar panel mounts, which I bolted to the roof, and I've got one in that toolbox up there, Ben. Brought it along, didn't bring it to Melbourne and Adelaide. I thought, that's not going through the X-rays. So that's 316 stainless. I'll pass it around if you haven't seen them. You just lift the tile off, that sits on the wood, goes over the tile on the bottom, and the top tile sits back on top and leaves that bit sticking up. And they can be dear, like $30 each. I bought them on eBay and I got a dozen of them delivered for $60. And it was $34 delivery out of Adelaide. Pass it around. Don't stick it where it doesn't supposed to go. Anyway, so that's my roof. You lift the tiles up and immediately the clouds come over. I was up and down the roof all day. They come with screws, and the first screw broke off halfway through, so I had to get back off and go up the street and buy new screws. So a 10-minute job took me half the day. And then once I had the mounts in, I went to Bunnings and bought some slotted angle. There's some on the back of Bruno. It's handy. It's dearer than it should be. It's very handy when you're hanging off the roof and you've got to line 2 bits of metal up with a hole through them, because there's plenty of slots and plenty of ability to adjust it. Instead of putting them up, what I normally would do is put them up, measure it, mark it, take them off, drill it, put it back up. That's easy. Obviously. I used 3 lengths of 20mm RHS across them just to hold them, and that's quite good. The controller box mounted up behind, once again on a bit of slotted stuff. Got the 90mm Bunnings tank outlets on them, and I went to the bloke and I want 6 of them, and he said, 6? I only sell 6 a year. So they work really well, and surprisingly that's sitting up there painted black on my roof on 40-degree days. It didn't get overly hot that it would upset anything. Now the mouth, if you look at it, has got 6 sections in it. So I've got the top section here, and then the bottom section, and then the 2, and then the bottom bit. Trying not to overlap what Logan's going to talk about. But there you can see I've put the nodes in the various locations, and I had to push the connecting cables down because they'd stick up and cast shadows. So a lot of them got pushed down, and then I put a dob of hot glue on them, and by the end of it I was getting quite sick of hot glue. So a bit of Celastic, and one of them's got blue tack in it somewhere. Might have been the Tune 2 sign, stuff this and they took me about 50 hours each to make. There's a lot of work in it, a lot more than I thought, and I think most of that was waiting for hot glue to dry and just fiddling with them. Having seen how they're made, it'd be a lot quicker, but I was making it up as I was going along. So I created a pixel map of pixels inside the mouth. This was done in Excel, which I then imported back into X-Lights. When I first started, I created one custom model for Patrick, and X-Lights handled it, but it made programming a bitch. So I then broke it down and I created multiple models. Bruno's got 11 custom models inside him. Because I've got different models, it's very easy to change. I've got one model for his antlers, one model for his ears, one model for his hat, one model for his eyes, his mouth, and so forth. So if I want to change his ears colour, I just drop a colour onto that model and his ears change colour. So I haven't got to work out what it is. Are you covering this, Logan?
Well, I'm just going to show them, so yeah, go for it.
Right. If you haven't done Singing Faces, there's mouth positions. Phonemes, is that how they're pronounced? It's one of those words. Some on your road. There's about 10 different shapes that all the animators use when they're animating, and apparently all our English language can be broken down into the variations of these shapes. So we have, was it AI or AL, O, E, U, ETC, REST, and so on. So they're the shapes and the various mouth shapes. So for each one of those shapes, I determined which one of those pixels I wanted on. Now this pixel map here is actually using their actual numbers, not just the shape numbers. So where I've got 67, that's the first pixel of Patrick. That's a mouthpiece, which would be number 1 on the previous image that I showed you. So to do the rest, I decided that the upper part of his mouth was going to be the rest, which was pixels 67, 68, 69, and 70. And for the ETC, if you can remember, ETC is sort of this shape. I called it the big top, which was all those pixels. The oval, or the WQ is the round, which is 61 and 62, which is just the round bit in the middle. So when you're using nodes to animate faces, you're not turning them on and off, you're changing their colour. If you've got a wireframe singing face, you have a set of lights that are the outside shape and another set of lights that are the inside shape, and you turn them on and off. When you've got a singing face like this, if he's got his mouth closed, the other part of his mouth has to be the same colour as the rest of him. So you're actually changing the colour of the pixels to be mouth open white or mouth closed green, whatever the colour that happens to be. So he went through all this, worked out which pixels I needed to be on, or to be the mouth open colour for the various shapes. And this is what I'm just saying here, change their colours. If you turn it off, it goes black, which is what I use for the eyes. For the pupil of the eyes, Bruno wears sunglasses, so he puts his black sunglasses on. I use 2 layers in X-Lights. One layer I set as the off colour, so if the tree was green, the off colour would be green. And then the other colour is the face colour, which is the colour it goes when that pixel is turned on. And X-Lights does it, and it does it really well. It's one for the mouth. So that's the 3 of them going. As you can see, they're singing Run Rudolph Run. The 2 girl voices, they're very infatuated with Rudolph. He's the subject of the song. He's Rudolph in this one, not Bruno. And their bows are pointing at him, and their eyes are looking at him. So when I talk about sequencing and things, little attention to detail. So when I programmed the eyes, I created what I called states, which was eyes left, eyes right, eyes up, blink, open, cross-eyed, all those various places that the eyes would be. And for each one of those states, I assigned it to a phenome. So eyes right might have been E, and eyes left might have been ETC, and eyes shut might have been blink. And then I used the face effect to call in that we use the phenomes to affect the face effect, to affect the eyes, and the eyes moved. I'll show in a minute. I used the same layout for all the eyes, and I used white and black. I tried different colours. I used red in Patrick, and it looked a bit weird. Might be alright for Halloween, but black and white seems to work for eyes. This is the video. Because I got struck with lightning, I didn't get any videos. This is probably one of the few that I've got. It's off my phone. The sound's horrible. They're singing Uptown Funk. Patrick's hat's on fire with a fire effect because he's so hot, and that's his red eyes going there. His mouth is in the rest position. The other ones are looking at Rudolph, Bruno. I'll try and start this, and where am I going to go? Doesn't go for very long. I'll give you an idea of the mouths going. What I personally don't like about it is I can see all the internal lines. Other people said it looks good, it looks three-dimensional, looks this, looks that. I'm fussy and I don't like it. And that's from the strip. Those little black parts in there are missing strips in between the two. So I'm thinking maybe if I went 75mm that might have blurred a bit more. They were quite effective. They were very bright. They were a lot brighter than I thought they were going to be. I was worried about the street light out the front. It ended up being worried about me. It's just that bright. And the colours were vibrant too, yeah.
So, seriously, when I first saw the designs, I actually thought that there was paint inside the calendar. It looks like just the colours just pop.
Any wonder you get booted. Anyway.
No such thing as a dumb question.
And of course, only dumb answers. I have a helper. Everything gets a quality control. I have a CAT scan. That's an Australian miss. That's the only breed of Australian cat, and she's purebred and everything else. And I'd swear she was an electrician or something in a previous life. If I'm doing something and the pixels will just be being pulled off, the cat's got them. I climb a ladder, turn around, the cat's at the top of the ladder. I've got photos of her sleeping on my workbench between the soldering iron and whatever else. Anyway, I'll just fire up. Where are we? Go away. Okay. There's X-Lights. I created a song which was a mashup with a bit of, who was it? George Thorogood. And I had the two fellas talking to each other at the start of it. So there we go. That was your job. Are they going? Let's start again.
Like you've got to shut it down before when you change the audio input.
No, it should be. Oh, it's probably the stupid laptop.
No, it's just you start using one thing, then you've got to shut it down when you change from headphones to speakers. You seen that one? No, this is speakers. Yeah, if I'm using my headphones and I go to the speakers, I'll unplug it and then no audio, so I've got to shut down the whole thing, come back into it so I recognise it's a speaker.
Righto, let's start.
Hey man, how you doing, man? I'm getting ready for Christmas. Look at this show.
That's it. So you can see him talking. And Logan's going to use them for his demo. Looks even better. Stupid Windows. Any questions? Having built them, I swore that I'd never build any more and I'd probably use P10 panels if I did it again. Looking at them, they look like Christmas things. P10 looks like a TV. They look like a Christmas decoration that sings. Don't know if I'd build them again in a hurry. There's a lot of work in them. And they're big and bulky. You can't carry them around. Oh, one of my favourite stories. I thought being up on the roof, they're going to get wet. And Coro, the water will get in the flutes. Mould will grow in there and all sorts of stuff and dirt. So I thought I'd be smart and I'll seal up all the flutes. So I got some Sellies No More Gaps because it was cheap. And I sealed up all the flutes on it, painted it black with a bit of black spray paint, put it outside to dry in the sun. And the sun heated up all the air inside the flutes that I'd blocked. And they expanded and popped the No More Gaps out the end of it. So if you have a look at Patrick, he's got pimples on the side. And I've left them on there just to remind me how smart I am every time I look at them. If you don't, are you going to do faces, Logan?
Yeah, well, yeah,
I'll just show my eyes if you don't mind. Got to find them first.
You're talking about the internal Coro. My ones I did use a 3mm.
Yep.
And I haven't measured exactly how fat they are also for the distance, but I know that in trying it, when I was first doing all that, it was, trying to do the distances to get the diffusion as well, but the 3mm seems to amazingly stop colour bleeding through, but still,
Yep.
and still works quite well, so the 3mm may not show up quite as much through.
Yeah. No, I think that's what I'll try next time.
I like your idea of not running.
Oh, that works.
I didn't do that.
No, neither did I the second time. Okay. Have to bear with me. New computer. So for Patrick's eyes, that's Patrick. Righto, so what I've done for Patrick's eyes, I've set up all those phonemes. That's my layout screen. I haven't done the actual shapes around them. There's no need to. I knew what they were. And underneath there I've just got a line. And that line is a string of pixels, which happens to be the string that's inside their face. So for the eyes, I've got the start channel down there. Find it now. They keep changing this on me. Faces, there it is. So for the faces, that's just a carryover from a bug. So for Patrick's eyes, the mouth outline is node 1, and then node 3 to 6, and 8 to 10. So that's AI. So AI was looking left or right or up or down or something, and then E and ETC and all those layouts have to do with which way his eyes are going. I have a piece of paper somewhere near my computer that tells me what they are. I don't know where it is now. So I described those as a face, and I tied that description back to a phenome or phoneme, whatever they are. So then in the sequencer, on Patrick's eyes down there, if I click on that, I'm saying that for his phoneme, I'm using ETCs for Pat's eyes. So if I do ETC, his eyes do whatever. I can change that to AI, and his eyes go the other way. So just by changing that part there, if I wanted his eyes to do something else, I can go up, grab the face, put it in. Yeah, got it difficult. So there's a face. Click on it, come over here, call it Pat's eyes, change it to, I know, pick one. What does that do? Yeah, it's off. There you go, pick a good one. ETC's that way. So now I've got that eye looking this way and that eye looking the other way. So it's just a matter of putting the face things in and changing where they're pointing to. And what I tried to get across to the developers is if you had one called state, perhaps, where instead of having the phenomes names, you could have you could actually write in eyes left, eyes right, or whatever else, and then just apply that so that it wouldn't say phenome there, it'd actually say eyes left. And then you just create this state, then just use it on whatever model you've created as you want using the face effect. Any questions? I thought I was so smart doing that. I'm just, they look good up here when they're working, see the eyes going. And I haven't got the bows done either. I've just got a string with the different pixels in the bow, and I've got the same thing with the bows with the phenomes as well. So I just put a face effect on the bow, pull up a phenome, and the bow points the direction I want it to point. I was sick of talking. Any questions? Nope. Good. I like no questions.